Hi guys, so I'm back with part 2 of the reading on Hillary Clinton. So I've uploaded a reading about Hillary, general reading, and I am doing a timeline for the next 6 months for her. And just looking quickly, I feel that her reading confirms several other readings that I've used timelines for, the Mueller investigation reading and the Trump reading. And what I find curious and interesting about her is that I feel that her readings are not related to her necessarily, but all the circumstances that are surrounding her, surrounding the country. And only at the end do I feel like she enters the picture. Okay, so I feel that we're going to be dealing with this investigation situation until probably the end of February, and then March it looks like there's a change. But until then, I don't think it seems that it's really everything that happens is related to that, okay, to this investigation that's going on. And her reading, in a way, what I find interesting, and I don't know what it means exactly in terms of what's, let's say the truth, what in terms of what the actual outcome is for her, okay? Because I don't feel it's not super like what I feel about this is also the second reading about her is that there's something sort of bittersweet. There's winning, but there's also problems. It's not very clear cut, but maybe it's just that it's a complicated situation. I feel that even though this is the second reading, I should still do another reading on with the direct question that people have: is she going to be president? Okay, I should have just a very simple reading with very few cards saying that, because I think that's a question that many people still have. But I think it's in a way more educational to do a more in-depth reading so that we understand what are the trends or what's going on. Okay, all right, so getting started. So here we have, so today, this is November, okay? So November is wrong, groups of people working towards wrong things, a gift, or they're offering something. And this is a lot of focus on a secret, okay? So what this tells me, probably invitations and opportunities coming from related to this investigation. Okay, so I feel like in a way this to me is more about the investigation than it is about her. And we have this poverty and then the fox card, meaning working towards something, shady things in the background related to poverty, and also in a spiritual sense, the devil upside down, meaning the public. This is a card of the public. So society is understanding is wanting to move away from the devil, right? She wants to get away from this situation, this person in the government, and sees that the shadiness, in a way, all the kind of propaganda situation, or the dealings behind the public, even about the public, that are coming out, and the spiritual poverty. And also, then the way this is showing, if I look at all the cards, they all have to do with the sort of the devil and the Five of Pentacles and three. All of this points to a kind of a spiritual poverty, actually, in the country, right? The gifts that are actually the money that comes from shady dealings that happened almost in public, right? In a way, we're discovering the shady dealings and the secrets that may become public, okay, or may have to do with the public, but they will become public. So this is how it's playing out. And if we look at the values underneath, it's all about weird people working towards the wrong goals, spiritual poverty, the devil, working towards falsities. And the one card that focuses the Page of Swords on the secret. So the secret is really the focus, but it involves these elements. Okay, so again, this to me seems so much more about what's going on in the country than her. And again, I don't think this is particularly new to us. Okay, so this was here first. So then this is a month of oh my God, it was this December. Okay, December. So low energy, snake, a judgment about the boss, and the boss is a snake. The end of the snake, and the end comes through some sort of money situation. Okay, upside down, wrong business dealings, the key to an ending, or the key is an ending. So I feel that this is not, this is because in a way I was thinking about this, that why do all these cards seem to have to do with her as a figure and not as a person? And I'm thinking that the Hillary that we know, obviously she's not her friend. Very few people know, like most people, they have either have few friends, or not that many people know about her personal life necessarily. So what I feel this is answering is really the question of what do we have in common with her, in a way? What's affecting her that it's in a way Hillary is a citizen, right? I think. So it's showing me, this is again December. So it's showing that the snake is the boss. The boss is revealed to be a snake, to be a fake person. And the judgment card, I think, is significant. So the boss is judged, right? We're dealing with an investigation. So there's something about him, and the snake comes to an end. We've talked about before the end of the snake world and the end of this money-based world, maybe, okay? And relationships falling apart, but it's saying that the key here, the important thing about this reading is this ending, and the ending of the snake, probably. Okay, so in December we have the ending of the snake and the boss, and it's also pointing to the boss. So in a way you could say the end of the snake and the end of the boss. Okay, so transition to something else. So let's go to January. January. We also have shady money dealings with the foreign government, a heavy burden that we're all carrying, but light. So there's light shed into the specific money dealings of the Russian situation. Mountain, I think in this case, means long term. The lengths they went to with becoming donors and spreading their money around, okay. And here that's pretty interesting. It's the Hermit upside down. So it could be Hermit. It's actually, I remember this card came for Michael Flynn, meaning a person who's kind of crazy, like isolated in their conspiracy theories. So it could be the president, or it could be a mood, right? It could say that the conspiracy theory paranoia, okay? What do we have? We have the Scythe. So it's indicating an ending to this, okay? An ending to this long, it could also, if we read it this way, these two actually intertwined, because in a way, the sun brings light to this, and the scythe cuts the long-term influence, okay? So in a way, it could be cutting the long-term influence of the foreign power, bringing light to the influence of the foreign power, and in a way, the light cuts. The light, in a way, serves. In a way, the light actually serves a similar function in the scythe. It brings an ending to the darkness, right? Here we have the shady money and also money. Here we have the isolation and madness, or the conspiracy theorying, okay? And here we have the burden. So in a way, it's the moment where, it's interesting that the burden comes with the sun. It's probably that because we realize how burdened we were with all of that, how much that was part of our minds, or how we're going to be feeling in January, so burdened with this issue that's very stressful, as we know, we'll discuss a lot in this channel, okay? And then we have, moving to February, it is, okay, I'm just going to drink some water. I think I'm doing pretty well here. Oh, something fell out. I have to pick it up later, but I'm doing pretty well, I think. Pretty fast, considering that it's a timeline reading. Okay, so this has to do with the gentleman harvesting something, and it's harvesting guilt. Okay, guilt about money issues, and harvesting, in a way, it's literally saying you reap what you sow, okay, and you're guilty. And news, okay, so this is interesting because this is, so I talked about this before, the fool upside down is literally a foolish person, okay, and news about the fool, and there's stars upside down, so maybe people are having, feeling kind of hopeless, I'm sorry, about this, kind of killing people's hopes, because you have the guilt, in a way you have both the person who's reaping the reward of what they've planted, which is, turns out to be that they're guilty, and it also means corruption and crime, theft, loss. So this points to news about corruption and news about guilt. So this is, yes, so it looks like February we're going to have these news about guilt and corruption and the man, right? News about the man. The man is guilty of a crime and guilty of corruption. Okay, so this is February. And then the mood, because the tarot is a lot of times about the mood. The mood is people feeling hopeless and feeling like, oh my God, this idiot, this fool, how do we move away from him, right? How do we move on? Okay, so this was February, and now we're moving to March. And now I feel like this is when she could start to come in, okay? And I don't know if, okay, hold on, let me do this. I don't know that, again, to me, in some ways, it's not clear that it is hard in some ways, because these situations are being shown because she has to do with them in some way or other, okay? All right, let's see here. So this is disappointment. And upside down is we're trying to move away from disappointment about the election, okay? The Empress and the Empress upside down. It's a sense of loss of abundance. I don't think it's her here. I think it confirms the feeling in the country. People are feeling hopeless, the lack of abundance. America is not as beautiful as it once was. A lot of stress. Stress and in fighting about, not necessarily fighting. I think here is stress about the election. Stress about the wrong works that were done because of this election. But then here you have something interesting. We have a deal. A deal, a business deal or a decision of some sort about the election. And here we have things kind of working, a competent person who does the day-to-day that they have to do, and a letter. So this is kind of interesting to me. It shows that there's some kind of decision done about the election situation, and this is March. And this is consistent with other readings I have done. And either she is really, I think because it showed up in her other reading as well, there's something about she gets some sort of document or invitation related to this election deal, right? And if it's true that we are going to have some sort of, I don't know, special election or something related to a new election, I don't know. This is showing that there's an agreement of some sort and a message or a document. Okay, so that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling that it's probably going to be, I'm not going to say disputed, but there's going to be some stress. And what I get here too, like I said, the sense is that I don't get, like, at least at this point, not necessarily joy, but stress. Okay, so this is, again, election, moving away, because people are very disappointed too. So they're probably angry. So moving away from the disappointment of the election, moving away from the wrong works. There's a deal. It's almost like I said before about different readings. I feel like it's going to be a moment in this country of almost like, well, the feeling I get is so strange, is after a war, how do you rebuild? It's not joyful, right? There's all these mixed emotions, all these things. And that's what I feel like. This is some sort of like, you know, the words that came to my mind is just so strange. It's called the New Deal. This is what I got. So strange, right? Which is how Europe was helped after I don't know. So anyway, it's very strange, but this is what came to my mind. New Deal. So it's a work of rebuilding. That's what I feel like. There's a decision and a deal about a new or something related to the election. And I think again, this could be her in the sense that she could get the letter or be invited to this new deal or close a deal about an election or the election. Okay. And this is, okay, this is a person who's focused, aggressive, and then clouds. Clouds, I think, it's interesting just because in a way it's a little bit the opposite of the other. So underneath the clouds, underneath what's hidden, there's focus and money related to an older person, or like abundance related to another person, an older person. And I wonder if it could be, maybe this could also be a woman. I think it's mostly men, but it could maybe be a woman. Yeah, or you know what, this could also be dealing with problems related to the older man. That's what I think. And that's what I feel like about her reading overall, is that the ghost of Trump is everywhere. It's not like she's going, if she does indeed participate in this new era of the new election, it's not going to be easy, because it's not like he's going to be completely gone, in the sense that even if he's found to be guilty, we still have to clean up the mess. And this is what I think this is the problems related to the older man and having to focus after all of this. Okay. And what I think this is, so I'm going to show you the last row. This is April, and I hope that I've talked about it. Okay, I'm going to try to mark this. Okay, so anyway, I am going to talk about the last row of all. This is the timeline, right, of all the cards, and this is probably the best part of the reading, which tells me something, and I'll show you right now. Okay, one second. So this is the heart. This is what was on top. And this is a kind of like a messy situation. You're trying to execute the first steps, but it's a little bit messy, right? It makes sense considering the situation and worry, okay? So this is telling me, because the question was about her and her next 6 months and whether she's going to be, well, I didn't ask, to be honest, if she was going to be in the government, but I asked about her. Tell me about Hillary, and then tell me about her timeline. And ends in the government. This is a card of the government. So her heart is in the government, or she is in the government, or the government is about love or growth or being real, telling the truth. Okay, so I think it's possible that she could be involved in the government in some way, because again, this is how this is April, and this is how the prediction for the 6 months. Okay. And I pulled more cards just to show, just to see. And I think I did ask, is she going to be in the government? Is she going to be, I don't know if she's going to be president? And I wanted to know, right? So I pulled out 3 more cards, and it looks like it could happen. But I think in this reading, I am super hesitant not to get super excited, or it's just there's so much ahead that we have to, and this is what I feel the reading is telling me too. It's like, don't get excited, because it's just way too much work. There's just so much work to do until we get to this, to like breathing. Okay, so let me just show you, and I think these 3 cards, not that I don't take them seriously, I just don't think they're just sort of like added elements of this one big reading, but I don't think in themselves alone they are significant. I think this is a very large reading, and I have to take everything into context. Okay, so I pulled more 3 sets of cards just to clarify, okay, more about this reading. And I get here the crazy man turned upside down, the White House, plan, a lot of money or abundance, and an opportunity after the wrong win. So what I feel it says, it's just looking at the Lenormands, this is the house, an opportunity, abundance, an opportunity for abundance in the White House. Okay, so of course, this is very positive. It would mean that, in a way, if you look at fish in the biblical sense, it's very nice, right? So it's like a new rebirth, or like a new birth in the White House of opportunities. And again, it's interesting because it's almost like the ghost of Trump is there still. The crazy man is there, but we are at a stage where planning for the new abundance and moving an opportunity to move on from the false election. Okay, so again, I don't think this is. I imagine, I guess my hopes were that whoever, if it's her or somebody, there would be a kind of a clean cut, like, oh wow, let's celebrate how great the new changes. But no, it's not showing me something like this. Okay, on the contrary, it shows that it's maybe a new shift in values, perhaps, but it's that it's just going to be rebuilding and construction as opposed to just kind of showing up and winning. It's not going to be like that. So that's that. So that was a timeline reading about Hillary. Okay, and it's Tuesday, November 14th. Thanks for watching.